17th of July 2001. Just 357 days after Air France Flight 4590 exploded into flames over a Paris runway, killing 113 people, Concorde returned to the skies. Captain Mike Bannister pushed the throttles forward at London Heathrow, launching the world's most famous supersonic jet on a flight that would determine whether the aircraft had a future. 3 hours and 20 minutes later, through overcast skies and gusty winds at RAF Brize Norton in Oxfordshire, he faced a decision that would make history. On the 25th of July 2000, at 16:43 Central European Time, Air France Flight 4590 departed Charles de Gaulle Airport, bound for New York. During takeoff from runway 26 right, the aircraft ran over a metal strip that had fallen from a Continental Airlines DC-10 5 minutes earlier. The strip cut the number 2 tyre, sending rubber fragments into the underside of the wing at 310 miles per hour. The impact ruptured fuel tank number 5. Leaking fuel ignited, causing engines 1 and 2 to lose thrust. The aircraft lifted off but could not climb above 200 feet. Captain Christian Marty fought to control the jet. 90 seconds after takeoff, the Concorde crashed into the Hotelissimo Les Relais Bleus Hotel in Gonessa. All 109 people aboard and 4 on the ground died. The entire Concorde fleet was grounded on the 15th of August 2000. The Bureau of Inquiry and Analysis for Civil Aviation Safety launched an investigation. Between July 2000 and July 2001, engineers implemented 3 critical modifications. Kevlar linings were fitted to fuel tanks 1, 4, 5, 7 and 8. These linings reduced fuel flow from a potential rupture to 0.5 litres per second, down from 100 litres per second in the Paris accident. Michelin developed near-zero growth radial tyres, designed to resist foreign object damage and burst into smaller fragments. Electrical wiring in the landing gear bay received armour protection to eliminate potential ignition sources. Concorde's droop nose mechanism addressed a fundamental problem in supersonic aviation. The aircraft required a streamlined nose for aerodynamic efficiency at Mach 2.02, yet this design severely limited pilot visibility during ground operations. At typical landing angles of attack, a fixed nose would have restricted the pilot's view to approximately 5 degrees. Engineers at Marshall Aerospace, working under contract for the British Aircraft Corporation, designed a solution controlled by the aircraft's hydraulic system. The nose section could move to 3 positions. In the raised position, it formed a smooth aerodynamic line with the fuselage. At 5 degrees down, it provided visibility for takeoff and taxiing. At 12.5 degrees down, it gave maximum visibility for landing. The mechanism operated through twin hydraulic actuator jacks powered by the green hydraulic circuit. 2 uplocks secured the nose in the raised position during supersonic flight. A standby system using the yellow hydraulic circuit provided backup. In total hydraulic failure, a mechanical release lever allowed the nose to free fall to the 5-degree position under gravity. The droop nose worked in tandem with a retractable visor made of heat-resistant glass. During supersonic flight, the visor rose in front of the cockpit windscreen, protecting it from temperatures exceeding 100 degrees Celsius. For landing, the visor retracted into the nose cavity before the nose lowered. The entire sequence took 12 seconds to fully droop and 19 seconds to raise. Norman Harry OBE led the development team at BAC Hearn in Dorset. Triplex manufactured the specialized glass capable of withstanding extreme thermal stress. British Airways announced the verification flight on the 17th of July 2001. Concorde G Bove, registration Alpha Foxtrot, would depart Heathrow at approximately 14:20 on Wednesday, July 17. Captain Mike Bannister, British Airways Chief Concorde pilot, would command the flight. Captain Jock Reed, the Civil Aviation Authority's Chief Test Pilot, would serve as First Officer. The flight operated under CAAB conditions for an aircraft without a current certificate of airworthiness. 5 engineers accompanied the crew, including George Robinson and Robin Morton from Airbus UK, who had participated in Concorde's original certification in the 1,970 seconds. Just after 13, Alpha Foxtrot departed the British Airways engineering base under tow. Ground crews moved the aircraft to Block 41 on the main airport apron for final checks. At 14:20, the aircraft lifted off from Heathrow. Bannister flew the aircraft supersonic, reaching Mach 2.02 and 60,000 feet over the mid-Atlantic toward Iceland. The flight profile replicated the standard London to New York route. Engineers monitored fuel temperatures continuously, validating the Kevlar liner performance. The aircraft maintained supersonic cruise without issue. After turning southwest of Iceland, Concorde descended and decelerated 70 miles west of Devon's coast. Military air traffic control assumed responsibility for the final approach to RAF Brize Norton. Weather conditions deteriorated as the aircraft neared Oxfordshire. Low overcast clouds covered the airfield. Surface winds gusted across the runway. Media crews and local residents gathered despite the conditions. After 3 hours and 20 minutes in the air, Alpha Foxtrot broke through the clouds on final approach. Bannister corrected for crosswind drift. The main landing gear touched down smoothly on the RAF base runway. He taxied to the crowded stand, where engineers and press waited for the results. Bannister emerged from the aircraft and raised then lowered the droop nose in the traditional Concorde salute. He told reporters, "It was absolutely fantastic to get back behind the controls. I've been flying Concorde for 22 years, but this was the best flight ever." The initial reaction is that the aircraft performed brilliantly. "I have great professional pride in being allowed to fly this wonderful plane." BA Chief Executive Rod Eddington stated, "After many hours of work by our engineering team, it's good to have the aircraft flying again. This is an important day for everyone." Alpha Foxtrot remained at RAF Brize Norton for several days. Engineers conducted ground tests before declaring the aircraft airworthy for return to Heathrow. Test data confirmed the modifications performed as designed. The Civil Aviation Authority and French Direction Générale de l'Aviation Civile issued directives on the 5th of September 2001. On the 15th of August 2001, Concorde received its renewed Certificate of Airworthiness. British Airways planned operational assessment flights with staff as passengers. On the 11th of September 2001, Concorde Jibo AF completed its first flight with passengers since the grounding. All passengers were British Airways employees. The aircraft landed at Heathrow shortly before American Airlines Flight 1 struck the North Tower of the World Trade Center. The terrorist attacks killed 40 of Concorde's best customers who worked at the complex and traveled a minimum of 20 times per year. The aviation industry faced immediate collapse in passenger confidence. Commercial service resumed on the 7th of November 2001. British Airways operated Jibo AE from Heathrow to JFK. Air France operated FBTSD from Charles de Gaulle to JFK. New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani greeted passengers at arrival. Between 1976 and 2001, British Airways Concorde operations generated an average profit of £30 million per year. Post-September 11, passenger numbers plummeted. Aircraft frequently flew with empty seats. The cost of operating partially filled flights became unsustainable. On the 10th of April 2003, British Airways and Air France announced retirement of their Concorde fleets. Air France withdrew its aircraft in May 2003. British Airways conducted farewell flights through October 2003. On the 24th of October 2003, the final passenger service landed at Heathrow from JFK. On the 26th of November 2003, Jibo made Concorde's final flight, travelling from Heathrow to Bristol-Filton. The aircraft that had proven Concorde could fly again completed the type's last journey. The July 2001 test flight demonstrated that engineering and determination could restore Concorde after catastrophic failure. But the convergence of the Paris crash, September 11 attacks, and rising maintenance costs proved insurmountable. Concorde operated commercial service for 27 years. From its first flight on the 2nd of March 1969 to retirement in 2003, it represented a technological achievement that has not been replicated. 18 of 20 Concordes built are preserved in museums worldwide. The supersonic age of passenger aviation ended with them.